homosexuals.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise Crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Hello, Libertarian Podcasters View. This is our LPR. This is always a problem when I'm doing this at my office. So I hope I'm trying to get chat going so we can actually display it. And it looks like perhaps only Rumble chat is going. I hope not even then. Not even fucking then. Still problems. But anyway, here we are. Tyler Yonke, LPR. JC's in the chat. We've at least got going there. That's good to see. Who else is going to be coming in? I don't know. I thought we'd talk about this war that we are doing. This stupid thing here isn't working here. I thought we'd talk about this, the podcast wars that we're coming up on, to see just the blowing up that's happening out here in this. Let's see. Maybe we'll have to do this chat again. Righteous Gemstones is in here. Thanks, Magoo. Glad to see you there as well. And you know what? You're gonna bear with me just a tad. Full chat. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can add someone in here. Chat stream. Feature chat. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna effing work, and I'm gonna be upset about it. So we're just gonna have to go to looking at the chat. I thought I had this down and under control, but I guess I did not. So everybody out there, there's been people going crazy. We just did and by the way, let me know if you can hear everything okay. If you can, that's great. We'll be back up on Friday. I'll be doing that from home. And with the Friday show, things will be set up just right, so you'll be able to pop in the chat. Adam Choit's out there as well. We've got a bunch of new, I don't know what's happening recently, but a bunch of new subscribers, so I really appreciate that. The views have been going just fine as well. So moving along, happy to see, and yeah, really happy about that. So let me just make sure this is going to be, okay, we're looking good for everything else otherwise. Okay, so here are the wars that we have, and I think I had a listing of these. We have Nick versus Ian Carroll. We have Candace versus Tim Pool. We have Crowder versus Tucker. Nick versus Tucker. TPUSA versus Candace. And Owen Benjamin versus everybody. So it's probably the Egyptian Mossad death squads in their maroon shirts fucking with your chats. No, look, Magoo, I'm using OBS, and with that, you have to use some other keys, some things to get it in there. For some reason, it's not working in my office the way it works at home, so we'll just try to keep that updated. I'll talk nice and close into this mic, so I don't have to do any editing from there on. So I thought we would at least start here by playing a few things. Nick goes on, what's his name? Who is your war with? It was with Jose. Okay, it was with Jose, but I think we're getting over that. You know what? Let's see if we can do. I don't want that one. How about this one? And maybe we will try a browser. Hang with me, people. It's not always this bad. It's not always this bad. Let's pop out that chat. Let's do this. Let's put it in there. see if that does anything. I don't know if it is. Someone chat something and let me see if it pops in. If not, then we'll just remove it there. So who's my war with? There was a thing with Jose. This is interesting because I was thinking about this, but Candace said, so you can't argue with the truth, Tyler. I will. It's not working, by the way. I will tell you the Candace stuff. This is what's interesting about the Candace stuff. I find that I watch Candace. One, I've said this from day one, not from day one, but mostly recently, that you have issues with Candace. Fine. I think there's a bunch of things you can have. It is working now. Some things you can have with Candace, perfectly fine. And I want this to be there. There you go. If you got issues with Candace, there's things to go after Candace for. But what I watch her show mostly for is to see who is lying about her. Okay, because like I said, if you want to go after her, there's a lot of good stuff to fodder for her to mock and everything. But when you go in there, you just lie about stuff. Like as an example, Adam Sosnick goes on PDB and he just outright lies and says stuff. Michael Moynihan had Megyn Kelly on there, and he's like, she's saying the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. That's not what happened at all. There's a definitive issue that came out, and this is where I also want to talk about this and how TPUSA comes into this, which is you had this event happen, and I think for me, I split it down the middle of two issues. They may overconnect at some point. We will see. But one is TPUSA and how they are reacting and possibly the burning it all down of there. We're going to play some clips of that. And then who killed Charlie Kirk? Okay, perhaps there's in the Israel stuff. The Israel stuff came about right away because Benjamin Netanyahu goes on news immediately and he's saying stuff that's just didn't believe to be it's seemingly true. And then we saw a bunch of tweets and text messages, DMs that actually proved him to be an outright liar. That to me is fascinating, and I think and then the other part is people are like, you're burning down TPUSA, and I'm like, okay, we'll get into that stuff. Okay, so there's the Candace stuff. Then you've got let's just back up a bit. So Nick goes on with Steven Crowder, and I was not impressed with that interview. People, even the Piers Morgan thing, people are like, oh, he's crushing him. I don't know. I think Nick missed some things. He missed some things here. One of the things he missed, which is you've got a boomer, and trying to do this gotcha journalism stuff. And by the way, am I more impressive with this tie and a shirt on today? I had court this morning. You had a boomer trying to do this gotcha stuff. And Nick goes on to Piers Morgan and kind of, mocks him and does some other things. I think if Nick, though, if he's trying to reach a vast amount of people, not just young people, he missed some opportunities. One thing I think he needed to do first off is combat the actual, and this is just my idea for strategy. Like, oh, you think Hitler is cool? Yes, he's cool. Now, here's where I think he's cool. And then here, yes, he's a monster. And I wish I wouldn't have to keep saying this, but you're going to have to keep saying this. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to keep saying this over and over. So I understand where he was also at his wit's end saying, I'm going to own it. That doesn't do you any services, honestly. At least that's my opinion. So I think he missed some opportunities there, but for the most part. And he missed them trying to connect to some of the older folks that, like me, that maybe be like, okay, I'm with you. But anyway. Or they didn't know that. Helpless. I was embarrassed for both of them. Yes, I think Nick is a fit. Exactly. So Nick goes on with Tucker. I thought it was a great interview. Go back a little bit. Let's actually start from the beginning of 2025, which is Nick goes on with Candace Owens. There's a beef there. They go on with Candace Owens. That seemed to be, there's some contention there, but it was much less than Piers Morgan. But, she pushed against him and they had some beef and they went and she's like, you can fact check me and da-da-da-da. And then he goes on to his thing and he doesn't like what happens. And then she goes on with Tucker and this is the Podwarz. I'm telling you all about this so you guys get this all set in your minds. Then the timeline is Candace goes on Tucker and they talk about it because Nick had been bashing her this whole time. perfectly fine. My commentary at that point was Nick went on a female show and he argued like a female. Embarrassing. Okay, then he goes after the fact and he complains that she was, too harsh, or she wasn't this, they were nice before and not after. Then Tucker bashes, and then he goes on Tucker and it's seemingly fine. And then Nick goes on with, he goes on Dave Smith's show in the meantime there. It's a big one. Then he goes on Tucker. And then he goes on Steven Crowder. And now he's ripping again on Tucker. Perfectly fine. You don't have to agree. Because Tucker's kind of going after him. But you can't say anything about Nick Fuentes without him getting his panties in a bunch. Completely. And another problem that he has, which I wish he would, I don't really care actually if he solves this or not, which is he's an expert. You ask him a question, almost everything he's an expert on. Family, girls, dating, he's an expert on. And that's been one where I'm like, I'm not taking anything he's saying, at face value. I think it's not that you've been there before, but yeah, maybe if you've been there with a woman, living with a woman is much different than looking at them online. I'm just going to say it, right? Let's have some water. So with that in mind, there's a lot going there. Okay, he goes on Steven Crowder. When he goes on Steven Crowder, he does say, for example, I'm not an expert on this. I don't know if he said that about the Charlie Kirk stuff, but he hasn't looked into this at all. Perfectly fine. You don't have to, but you don't then mock everybody that has been doing it. That's a problem as well. He is very much female, which is it's my way or the highway. And if you say something about me and my people, I'm going to be all upset and post things online. So yeah, is he a Fed? Possibly. Possibly is a Fed. According to Milo, Piers Morgan, or maybe it was Crowder, one of those two, he said that he had, hang on. I'm silencing that. I'm not, I need to do not disturb my phone. He said, Nick said that he had testified, he'd been subpoenaed before Congress, and he had testified about whether he was a Fed or not. According to Milo, who says you can look up the transcripts, he took the fifth, as CIA agents or FBI agents would be inclined to do. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something to be out there. Okay. He goes on there, and let's start first with the Ian Carroll stuff, and not Nick is pro-Fiat, J6 instigator, who buys official CK murder story. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to be problematic with there. Okay. Now let me go. Okay, so we're gonna play this clip of Ian Carroll, whom I'm actually liking more and more, but you guys may say I'm a Fed. Let's play this and let me know if you have any problems with
We're sitting down right now live, and I asked you about the information of this case. Do you think you would know it? Do you think you would know any of it? Would you know about the evidence that was mentioned in the affidavit? Would you know about the various video recordings of Tyler Robinson's car driving through the neighborhood, of allegedly Tyler Robinson walking through the neighborhood? Would you know about the timeline? Would you know about the foreign planes? And have you actually looked up that data for yourself? Would you know about the various military experts, Green Berets and such, who have been shooting combat dummies with 30-06s and every other type of round under the sun to try to recreate this shot, which is not real? Would you know any of this stuff? Because I'm not sure you would. I'm not sure you know the information on this case, Nick. Because if you did, you wouldn't have stuck your neck out like this on a retarded take like this. Because it was just a bad move. It was dumb. And you're not dumb. Which is why I was so surprised that this was your response.
Got me here light years ahead of you, light years ahead of Candace, light years ahead of Tucker Carlson. Now all these interlopers are going to come in and tell us that our ideology is about Netanyahu.
That was a really interesting phrasing, Nick. Now all these interlopers are going to come in and mess with my cult and tell us how to think. I'm the only one that can say how we're supposed to think about the Jews. That's a weird phrasing, bro. And I'm certainly not saying that I'm the one that's going to tell you how to feel about the Jews. I'm just a guy. I think you should probably do your own research and come up with your own conclusions about how to feel about the Jews. But you should probably be careful of gatekeepers, especially when it comes to a topic like the Jews. So just think carefully out there, guys, for yourselves. And don't let people gatekeep information.
Okay, Magoo's not going to like that. But there we go. I mean, I'm totally open to a lot of this. Like I said, you might have some crossover of these two. I watched the Candace stuff almost like it's like crime documentary. It's ridiculous, the stuff that some of it's ridiculous, but I don't care. I'm entertained, and partly because I don't care what happens to the GOP or I don't care what happens to TPUSA. I think it's very plausible that Tyler Robinson did this. With maybe no Fed influence at all. And all this digging is going to find more stuff out about TPUSA that is not connected, but it's going to come out in light of all this. You're going to do all this discovery or all this pushing back, all these little things you're doing, and you're going to find. What I am finding is, and I think it's very important, is kind of what Mel, crazy lady, village lady Mel, when she came out there about the religious aspect, I think, and they are trying to prop up the TPUSA as some sort of religious. It's almost like talking about the Pope with Charlie Kirk. It's unbelievable the way they go. And I don't know what to think about this, but something about Erica Kirk is weird. Okay, just in general. Before this whole thing happened, wasn't a big fan of her and Charlie. But there's some. I would just hope my wife would move along something else and not try to take over my vast empire, because it makes it feel weird. There's something I just kind of feel creepy about them there. Okay, so here's a retort to that scathing thing from Ian Carroll by Nick himself. Let's play it away here.
Sensationalism to distract. They will push whatever is in vogue. Low IQ conspiratards like Ian that got repealed yesterday. They call themselves truthers, yet they fall for it every time.
He's an idiot. I have no respect for him. He's a passive-aggressive numbskull, and let's just be honest, that's always what he was. People come around, they start saying the right talking points. We gas them up because they're doing it. But he's an idiot. He's not impressive intellectually. He's just plain stupid. He looks weird. He's basically a hippie. Nobody knows where he came from. So nothing of value is lost. And he's passive-aggressive. He's just another passive-aggressive woke tard who discovered the JQ.
Richard Percival said $20. Great interview. Elites will use sensitive.
Okay, one problem with that is it's like I've said so many times, when you go online and then you're going to mock someone's looks when... I mean, he just got all worked up over Piers Morgan. I'm gonna take a shot at everybody. This Podwarz, no one's gonna be left. Ian Carroll, sure. Mock him. Right? Just jump. Let's go to the full chat here. Says Ian is just wrong on so many things involving the CK assassination. Ian talks about the rifle being a stock photo, and there's an article proving it, but he never shows the article because he's full of shit. Nick is right here. Perhaps. It's rough. It's rough how you're going to be. This episode might be huge swings of you agreeing with one person and then agreeing with the other, that you don't agree with them. Normal. Could be. I'm just not. I'm always skeptical of Nick, and I'm skeptical of all these people, but it's entertaining me. And then I like to see, I actually don't know, you're going to have to see a lot more info. One thing I did see, it was, I think it was Megyn Kelly talking to Kash Patel. I've said this over and over, which is when you're going to have these text messages come in, to have them come in, you're going to have to show authenticity, okay? Authenticate these, right? From if it's cell phone records that you're getting, they're dumped from data, then you're going to have someone from the, Verizon, if it's there, to come in to testify that they are the custodian, that these are the records, that these were well maintained, da-da-da-da-da. According to Kash, remember at the time he said there was like a note, but it's disappeared, but we have proof of it. Okay. And then he said something on Megyn Kelly just recently, which makes me think that someone filmed the Discord or screenshots of they were filming. They didn't have the actual ones from their phone Because he's like, there's a video or something of them out there of these text messages. So like, let's say their text messages are up on their screen and they're filming a thing while they're doing it. So, but then all those things disappeared. Okay, you're gonna try to authenticate that. I mean, that video itself is authentically recording what's on the screen. But how do you know what's on the screen was actually what was transformed back and forth to each other? And if it's been disappeared and those are text messages, you should be able to get those from the carrier. Or if they're from WhatsApp or Telegram or some other maybe it's some sort of encrypted service, you may have trouble doing that. These text messages aren't the be-all, end-all, and that to me was interesting because it's kind of like third-party hearsay thing that I was just surmising out of here. So these are issues we have. Okay, let's move on here. I don't know why it's showing that. Well, because that's what you are, Magoo. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to look at? This is we're just doing the wars here, people. We're doing everything we can to mock it. This is Ian Carroll talking about some sort of messages between he and Nick Fuentes, reading the whole thread, I guess, but specifically I said in my videos that I wasn't calling him a Fed. But hey, judge for yourselves. I mean, it's a bunch of men who need to get laid, maybe. Nick says, you are really a disloyal person. And I think that is Nick's whole being right there. I think that sums everything up, is you're not loyal to him. You don't take undying, you won't go to the grave defending me no matter what I do. And you may be going, Tyler, that's a bit much. I don't know if it's a bit much. It really feels like that's kind of the person that he is, because a lot of these little issues that he gets into with people are because they wronged him, right? Like even did the Dave Smith thing. It was like, his stuff about Dave Smith was that he was a Jew being used, like the token Jew, and instead of me. And then even with Candace, it's like, you didn't have me on there. I was on a Spaces, and you said, and it's just like, dude, man, oh man, when they say touch grass, I think they're talking literally get out and do something else. I mean, it's sad because I know he gets out and he's got Ye or whatever his fucking name is as his best friend or whatever. Who has a celebrity as their best friend? Okay. I went to bat for you when people were calling you a Fed. And now because I disagree with you, now you attack my credibility? Fuck you. Watch the video. Then Ian replies, watch the video. You're way out over your skis, man. Blatantly wrong, and it's hurting your credibility whether I point it out or not. Go rewatch your live stream segment about me. Did you think I wasn't going to respond? You asked for evidence, so I produced it. You were saying, and then Nick replies here, you are saying, quote, has Fuentes flipped, quote, disregard all you want, but insinuating I work for Israel or the FBI. You are a total piece of shit. I mean, I think that's taken people out of context there too from what he said. Flipped, I don't know. When people are attacking you for your Kabbalah bracelet, I called that out as paranoia and they were being ridiculous. Now we disagree for the first time and you immediately jump on the bad faith accusation saying I'm a controlled op. You are trash. Okay, well maybe so. You agreed with me that Candace Owens did me dirty and didn't say anything because you didn't want to offend her. There was nothing honest about you. I didn't agree with that. I didn't think she did him dirty. I thought she argued like a woman, and so did he. He did himself dirty. He did all men dirty. This isn't about, and then Ian responds, this is about you, Nick. Someone killed Charlie Kirk, and it wasn't Tyler Robinson. This is one of the most important moments of our nation's history. Second to figure out your shit and get your head. So this is a problem here of being so stone cold into what your theory is that you're not willing to, or you disregard everybody else. And I think that's what you're actually seeing from both of these people. Ian's stuck in his one that it is a vast conspiracy, and and Nick is completely the opposite. And I would even take this with Righteous Gemstones over here, Magoo. I'm open to all kinds of things. You don't think that something like this could have happened outside the perception of it's just got to be Tyler Robinson? I mean, it's plausible. I said to begin with, when people were like, "What's the difference between this and Butler?" And I'm like, "Well, this one actually could have happened." They didn't kill the guy, so he's still there. He's still going to be able to testify. He's going to be able to mount a defense. It's not just that he's dead and we're done and over and we just bury it up. Now he's going to be able to say shit, and we're going to be able to have to work through that. Okay, do we really want to keep going with that? That's a long thread there. Then the last message, and by the way, Nick, I'm not blackmailed, not gay, not a Fed, not an informant, not compromised in any way. Still waiting for you to respond to the evidence. By the way, play Twitter drama if that's more your style. Elon, Candace, Tucker, and you are all attacking my credibility simultaneously. Of course, it's about me. Oh my God. People. If this is your king, please look for him to abdicate his throne. I'm letting you know that you are dead to me. I will repudiate your support now and in the future because you're a dishonest piece of shit. Nick goes, okay, Ian goes, actually, I addressed the Fed stuff very directly since you didn't even watch the video, but you do you. There's a joke about 107 friendships out there somewhere, though. I'll still support your work when it's good. I hope it is. And then Nick can't stop. He says, yeah, I've been backstabbed repeatedly, including by you. I backed you up and defended you, and then you switched up on me because of the heat of the moment. You can shove your support up your ass. You got to say it like a Chicago accent. It means nothing to me because you have no integrity as a person. Okay. Fascinating stuff. I just don't, I'm sorry, when you see messages like this back and forth, it's just, it's dudes acting like girls. And I don't mean that in a bad way to you females, but could have no evidence at all, but could have. Ian thinking releasing text messages between him look more credible, or does it prove Nick right that he's not loyal? Well, I mean, egg, chicken, cart, horse. Do you release these because of all, you've had messages going back and forth. If I'm doing messages with you and they're private and you're continually doing this, and then at some point you're like going online and you're saying stuff, it'd be like, okay, I would be producing them. I did that with Safadine, right? Amos, the total hack Bitcoin guy. And I know a lot of you love him, but read my Substack about it. Dude, it's a complete wanker. But whatever. I didn't release those to begin with. I did them later. I gave them a chance, so here we are. But pretty, look, I'm not defending either one of these. I'm just saying, we're doing the wars, people. We're in the Podwarz. You got to understand how it is here. Okay, Fuentes puts Ian Carroll on blast, suggests he's an operative, and airs out their text messages. Okay, so here is this next one, and I guess the question would be, I don't know the time frame of who aired whom first.
Call you a fed and imply you're disingenuous, but genuinely, when was the last time someone told their audience to get involved in politics? Not just voting, but taking the helm.
At this point, I'm convinced that Ian is an operative.
Okay.
Ian.
These two girls got to stop. Now, someone just said, hey, he's calling you a fed. Now, do I take Ian at his word that he didn't call him that? And now, so he just says, Nick goes, oh, he called me a fed. Well, instead of looking it up, he's like, I'm going to go out here and mock him. Now he's an operative. Here we go, people. You've got to call everyone a fed, and then you got to out-call the other person. So this is Ian and Nick have both been accused of being feds. They both defended it. Now they're back to calling each other feds.
RFK Jr., he said he defended Eric Prince repeatedly. Defended the Gaza deal. He's on Joe Rogan with this Kabbalah bracelet. You want to know why I think that? It's because
he just said in the text messages, I told everyone the Kabbalah bracelet was bullshit, but now you're going to use it against him. He's not arguing in good faith, and I don't know that Ian Carroll is either. I'm just saying what I'm calling this guy out with what we're seeing, right? So, and I said this, and I know people are getting all worked up. They're like, Piers Morgan tried to dox his father. He tried to make his father sound like a racist. Now, yes, Piers is a bit shitty for that. But Nick is also the one that's talking about his dad and putting that out there. Like, I'm not going to be saying shit about my parents like that. Because you weren't there. You don't know their heart. You don't know. I do. And so if my parents have said something off color, do I have a hit for that? If they said something, no, this is a different one. If I said something off color, and you don't know the context and you don't know how they actually are, You can think that, your parents are that way. So maybe shouldn't be spreading that personal stuff. And then if you are spreading it, don't get your panties in a wad when someone brings it up. It's ridiculous. It does blow my mind sometimes. I understand Nick is really popular and he's, great at what he does. But then you see some of this stuff and you're just like, I don't know if I have the faith in our young community. And maybe this is going to get me blasted because I know how his groypers are. But I don't have faith in the young community that this is the guy. Although family members, anyway, I'm not a hater on Nick. I'm not a hater on Nick. I just am not an enamored person of Nick either. Okay, let's keep going back. Let's play some more of this stuff.
Because I was talking to him and he was treating me like a robot. Because I texted Ian Carroll the other day and I said, you know what, man, fuck you. I said, I defended you. I said, when everybody was calling you an operative because of your Kabbalah bracelet and whatever, I said, I defended you.
Okay, well, let's go back to what you started here with.
People want to call you a fed and imply you're disingenuous, but genuinely, when was the last time someone told their audience to get involved in politics? Not just voting, but taking the helm.
At this point, I'm convinced that Ian is an operative. Ian is pro RFK Jr. He said he defended Eric Prince repeatedly, defended the Gaza deal. He's on Joe Rogan with this Kabbalah bracelet because of your Kabbalah bracelet and whatever. I said, I defended you. I said, and this is how you repay me. We disagree, and now you call me a fed. That's your go-to. It's not, I disagree with him, or I don't understand his position. It's, oh, he's a fed. I said, you're a traitor. And he just wouldn't. He's like, just talking right past me. He's like, well, this isn't about you or me. This is about Charlie and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's about me because you're calling me a fed and you're a traitor. I'll read it to you. These people, like, something's not right with these people. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. I'll read you the conversation.
This is the one we just read.
And it was a very weird conversation. So I texted him. I said, you are a really disloyal person. I went to bat for you when people were calling you a fed. Now, because I disagree with you, you attack my credibility? Fuck you. He texted me. He said, watch the video. You're way out over your skis, man. Blatantly wrong, and it's hurting your credibility, whether I point it out or not. Whether I point it out. Okay, but you're not attacking my credibility. You're calling me a fed.
Unless I get proof that he called him a fed. According to Ian, he never called him a fed. I think we're going to move on from these two girls. Should we just play?
Go rewatch your live stream segment about me. Did you think I wasn't going to respond? You asked for evidence, so I produced it.
I think where they're talking past each other, honestly, because I've watched a lot of these clips in here and stuff, is Ian is concerned about what he considers the evidence and the overwhelming Charlie Kirk, assassination wasn't Tyler Robinson. He's concerned about that. Nick is worried about himself. Okay, perfectly fine. You can be worried about yourself, but that's where they're talking about it, because Ian's over here going, hey, this is not right. It's the evidence. And Nick's all, me. You said not me. Did it. And so it's like, yeah, you're just not communicating. You're not hitting each other because one's talking about, more substantive maybe, and Nick's all feels. Let's skip forward and see what this
little
bitch
Are you kidding me? You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. And in our nation's history, I guess in our lifetimes, yeah, this is bigger than the Trump election and like COVID and yeah, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. If this was as Ian says it is, then yeah, it's a pretty big fucking deal.
You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot and you suck and I hate you.
Okay, but that's wow, okay. Brave, a lot of words there. Heavy duty words. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is just as girly. And that makes me pretty sure it's a put on for engagement. Yeah, if there's one thing I wish Trump wouldn't do, it's name call. Let's do this. Let's go to the full chat. Interesting. I have this one. This is the bad camera, but this one's you're getting some Scottas over there. So I've got some chats on that one. That's interesting. They're not coming through on this one. I don't understand. Oops. Fuck me, I just got it. Got it. Go. Okay. There we go. Wow, this is getting rough here, folks. Okay. Maybe we'll just go back over here. Okay, let's go to Tim Pool because this is pretty cracky here as well. Just more and more stuff. Let's start with Tim Pool doing a complete breakdown and having a meltdown here of epic proportions from his show here. And I don't know if it's. I mean, look, Tim says he's been swatted a bunch. I have no reason to disbelieve him. But here you go. If you have kids in the room, move them out because. There you go. Wait, I wonder what Nate said here. If there's one thing I wish Trump wouldn't do, it's the name calling. Now we have all these wannabe podcasters trying to one-up each other with insults and name calling. It's so pathetic. Yeah. So interesting thing there because I will do name calling. I'm not, I will do name calling as well. Matter of fact, I was just listening to a podcast yesterday. Who was it? Oh, it was Dave Smith. I think he was playing a clip of Trump. And Trump was, they were asking him about some deal in the, it was Venezuela, right? Bombing, taking out boats and kind of saying, what's your plan here? And he's like, look, I don't have a good Trump, but he's like, look, you're the horrible media. You're biased. Why would I tell you? And it's just like, dude, why don't you sack up and just, you're saying you would tell this stuff if it was Fox? I mean, it's really pathetic. So yeah, it doesn't do much. F chat. Well, okay. I don't know that you had to go there. Six art. Okay, let's start here with Tim Pool.
She's a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you cower, as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Okay, just to break in there, Candace Owens had a thumbnail the other day with Tim Pool. But that's because Tim Pool, and she played a clip there, was because he was freaking out, kind of like this. So she put him on the thumbnail. There was nothing in there that said he had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's murder. I mean, we talk about this stuff from a legal perspective quite often, okay? Everyone's going to sue everyone now. Tim's going to sue. She's going to sue. All this. Or actually, that's one thing Candace doesn't do is sue. You've got, Alexis Wilton for Kash Patel. She's suing people. It's all this defamation. I'm doing all this. Nancy Mace. It's crazy stuff. So with that in mind, think of the things that he is saying perhaps that are factually incorrect, okay? So let's start with this thumbnail. First of all, his face is amazing.
Claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right now.
So this is the lie stuff that we talked about, and I think I started to and I didn't finish it, which was Adam Sosnick goes on the PBD podcast, makes claims about her that are just completely wrong. Eric Bolling is on there on that same one, claims he's on the board of TPUSA. And when you look it up, he's an honorary board member. It's just someone who has donated enough. Do you get this? It's like, O.J. Simpson getting a Harvard degree as an honorary degree or something like that. I mean, it means
fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy. And she doesn't give a shit about our security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland.
Maybe this should be security wars instead of pod wars. I mean, is he really just upset that she doesn't have as good a security?
Breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies, it's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money, and she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again, this conservative movement is fractured, it's fried, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history, and thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They invited me back after I started criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event. I'm over all of this shit. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic bullshit. You know, and I get people saying, Tim, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking Russia. There's no fucking Israel. There's just me sticking my neck out and then risking dying for what? A bunch of cowards that don't want to stand up to protect themselves? People like fucking Candace Owens?
I couldn't believe that she put you in the thumbnail.
What a fucking cunt.
Of her piece today.
I'm done.
The idea that she'd imply that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow.
She benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
Okay, so there we go. We might have some actionable issues with that. So I would disagree a little bit here with what Magoo. And I mean, I know you're a little worked up over this, but you said if I were made a video titled "Who's the Gayest" with Tyler in the thumbnail, it would be a safe bet I'm calling Tyler gay. Now, could be. What if that video was showed him in the maybe we should find this thumbnail, okay? Since everyone's getting worked up and obsessed about it. Let's go to YouTube. We'll find Candace Owens and we'll find the one that she had there the other day. There we go. She's gonna start here in a little bit longer, live video. Okay. So let's take a look at this thumbnail. The $1 billion question, okay? Who stood to benefit from Charlie Kirk's assassination? Kash Patel, Tim Pool, and a question mark. Okay, that is interesting. This is a little clickbaity. I think that's maybe Magoo has a point. The problem though is if you watch the video, it's not that he has something to do from this assassination. TPUSA is saying these kind of things too, but then they're going and they make millions of dollars selling T-shirts. I mean, people are all making stuff. The Tim Pool, I think that the question there, and I'd have to watch this again, and maybe we'll have to do this, which is why was she saying that? Because he had been talking about how she was benefiting from this assassination. So you go back here and take a look at this here, this whole thing. The bill. So if he's saying that she's got something to she's benefiting from, right, and that she's going to split the Republican Party, and then they're not doing this, but she's making millions of dollars, is it wrong for her to ask this question in here? There's more to a thumbnail than just the thumbnail, okay? Should we look at my thumbnail from today? I mean, I have all these people on here. They're Podwarz. But are they really all going to war with it? Is it really war, even though I used a Z? Okay. So, look, Tim Pool calling her names, perfectly fine. But what my point with Tim Pool, and we'll look at her reaction here, but this was a thing he got all exercised over a few years ago. Libertarian Party of New Hampshire put "Happy Holidays." It's Meghan McCain crying over the casket of her dad. I'm sorry, I laughed. That was in 2022. He said, "This is fucking awful. God damn." So calling a person a see you next Tuesday is over and over vile. All these things. That's perfectly fine, right? Matter of fact, that's justified. But this is out of bounds. I'm just saying all these people are off their rockers. Okay. Now let's see what the Candace Owens had to say about this here. Let's go this. Maybe we should take this at 1.25 just so we Aren't here all day. What time is it? 1:45 Pacific?
Scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which she's doing to me right now.
Yeah, that was the.
I'm done with these people.
She has security just not on the level of you.
Oh yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two. No one's out for her. She's lying about all this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the am I even supposed to sell this property?
So there's a lot to unpack there. First and foremost, what you are seeing right there is not a display of testosterone. Men that speak to women like this are not tough guys, okay? What you are seeing is actually a display of estrogen. Everything he is doing there is somebody who is not a man, he is not tough, and he would never dare to speak to a man like that, right? People that find that very easy. Secondly, Tim Pool doesn't even have the intellect to understand that we put him in the thumbnail because he accused me in a full episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, which we showed and contextualized, of being someone who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination. So he thinks he's being accused. No, you accused me of that in like a actually I think it was 2-hour episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, in which Milo defended me and explained that I am not to blame for the lame excuses that the feds have given us regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that if we do.
And I will say, look, as someone who watches her way too much, she's completely correct. And if you watch that one with Tim Pool, he's talking about him losing. He says all her audience are idiots. That's me, I guess. And he's losing a lot of subscribers over to her. He's got a financial issue, and I think that's the key here.
We need to have some spiritual searching in terms of what the Republican Party has become. That the time for that is now. Okay. So this little, and I really like, he's a small person for this. A very small person who is also theatrical, Timothy Smollett, who pretends every year like people are trying to kill him. He's a chronic fence sitter, okay? Pretending like he is braving the wilderness for being what? The 110,000th person who's making a video about Candace Owens in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. He thinks he's pioneering that? Are you out of your mind? It's only the safest thing you can do. What's next? Is he gonna make a video and call Kanye West anti-Semitic? Like that's what he's pioneering right now. Oh my gosh, so original. Like, is he going to call Donald Trump evil in 2016? This is the storm that he's braving, is jumping on the side of what everyone else is doing. He is a fundamentally weak man for what he did there. He should apologize. He won't. I don't care what happens to his platform. He's now essentially trying out because he's under financial pressure. He's trying out for Zionists to pay him, and they will. Okay, they will cut him a check. And I hope it happens for you, Tim. I hope it makes you happy. But to do that to someone who has never done anything to you other than disagree with you about the Charlie Kirk narrative, I have not focused my content on you, and any time your name has come up, it has been because you have explicitly been attacking me. You are a coward. You are less than a man. Okay? You are behaving. Your type right there is like a person who's having financial issues and yet decides to go out and put $100K on a poker game, and when he loses and is a further $100K in the hole, comes back home and beats his wife and kids and thinks he's a tough guy. That's how you're acting right now. I'm not your wife. I'm not your kids. Get your affairs in order and stop blaming me, because I'm actually traversing down the path that hasn't been traveled by standing up and saying that something corrupt happened and Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I don't care about your midterms. Okay, I don't care about your next year midterms and whether or not the Republican Party is united. Okay, because I don't want to stand next to people that would cover up Charlie Kirk's assassination. I hope that I have made my point perfectly clear.
Now, you may or may not like what she has to say there. Perfectly fine. At least she says it. Oddly, she's the least emotional reaction to all of this. That's what. Well, now the heat just fucking came on. It's a little loud in here. That's what to me blows my mind, is that how is she the least emotional of all these people who are watching here? Well, Ian was somewhat subdued on that point. Now, taking into account where he's like, she's doing this and she's gonna be ruining the midterms and all this. It's like, get the fuck over yourself. That's so lame. I don't care. That reminds me of Trump saying, or the people saying, we can't release the Epstein files because it could bring down the Republican Party. It's like, okay, it's oh really? That's your stance? We can't divulge evil based on this. Now, I don't know if that's completely corollary or not, but there we go. Now I will start calling names, and maybe this is the first time for me to start really making comments about people on today's show. Let's start with the quartering. He played a little thing here, and here we go.
That's wild.
That's wild. I'm just here to ask some questions too, man.
No, that's a statement of fact. That is a false statement of fact. It's a psychotic, false statement of fact. My brother never committed a shooting that I claimed I survived.
So what are you going to do?
Well, I'm not supposed to legally say.
That's Jamie Kennedy, it looks like.
Everyone knows what that means.
So in 2022, there was a shooting.
Okay, so the fat guy from Wisconsin, he's playing this. So Tim's gonna do a lawsuit. Well, he just said that she killed Charlie Kirk. This is where it's stupid. Just stop being so emotional, all of you, right? You may not like Candace. Look, there's different things in their past, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that coming up here. Well, just going to do it right now. Piers Morgan was kind of a piece of shit. We've known that. Remember his horribleness on gun control, arguing with Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones. He's been, whatever. He was a news guy. He did a bunch of stuff into Michael Jackson, okay? Big lib lefty. And then Gaza thing. He revamps himself in this new, Piers Morgan show, Uncensored. And Gaza happens, and it's, this yelling matches he has in there. And now Israel's gone so far that he seems to be the sensible person on this. Having Dave Smiths and those kind where they just go and beat the crap out of Zionists all the time on the show. And it's like, you're like, oh, and look at this. He's kind of changed his mind on COVID. He's changed his mind on the woke stuff. And he's talked about that. He's been on with, and you're like, yeah, I like this. It's kind of it's your lefty that's come over. Soon he's going to say, I didn't leave the left left me. And then it's like, now I want to change the right to be more like me, how I was when I was on the left. That's always the problem. You're Dave Rubin's. I didn't leave the left. They left me. Did we? Or don't find us, please. I'm trying to run away from you. Anyway, you have not Jillian, kind of her, Anna Kasparian, some of these lefties that are crossing over and doing whatever. Then he has on Nick Fuentes. And did the mask drop because he just reverted back into the way he really was? So you've got to ask yourself questions about a Piers Morgan style. Is he really changed, right? It's right now he has, but he's been wrong off the bat on so many things. And he's like, well, now I've seen the light. Okay. Then you go and you do this interview with Nick, and it was just a little shitty the way he behaved. I don't think Nick, comported himself great. Some people can differ with on that. Similarly, Tim Pool, he used to be on the left, and he had some bad views, and he's changed. Candace Owens hasn't always. Someone in the chat pointed out, some of her stuff, from being long ago. Now, do we give these people then the rope to basically hang themselves, but allow themselves to pull themselves up from bad ideas and to make changes? The question is, are they going forward with these new ideas and basically an open mind going forward, or are they going to gatekeep like we saw Nick was wanting to do as well? Now, I don't think Nick has ever not stepped away from gatekeeping because that's kind of some of his racial preferences. But you've got to, kind of have this in mind. So has she made changes that you're going to go forward? Has Tim made changes that you're going to go forward? I think it's open and perfectly fine to take them at face value, always being concerned about this stepping off at some point too. So, who knows what that's going to bring us. Now, let's go to this. This is kind of Crowder. I think Crowder's got a thing against Tucker Carlson for some reason. I don't know what it is, but he expressed it here. He doesn't like him, and it could be the Zionist issue that and what's odd is I saw some clips of Crowder watching the Piers and Nick debate live. He doesn't like Piers, perfectly fine, because he's gone toe to toe with him over the years. So he was like cheering for Nick. Nick's his new buddy now.
As people say, why did he softball him and not ask about Stone? Here's the clip for those who haven't seen it from Tucker Carlson.
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday. Oh. I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's, okay, let's get back. We'll circle back to that.
And then he called you a gay fed. No, I'm kidding, but pretty much that's what he did. People are mad at him for softballing. I think he didn't. I think that would be fair to press. I just think he was fundamentally dishonest in a lot of ways, because the second you left, it was a different Tucker again. Is that a fair assessment? I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, 100%. And, I had the same experience with Candace. I went out there because him and I had beef. Me and Tucker had been privately and then publicly beefing for years. And, he called me on the phone over the summer. And we talked a little bit, and then somebody arranged, Alex Jones was a part of it, and somebody else kind of put this together. I went out.
Wait. Alex Jones was the mediator?
He was.
You do kiss and make up. All right, come on, this is enough. I mean, I can't imagine him being the middle ground, but okay.
He's a sweet guy,
He's a teddy bear.
Guy. Yeah. So he didn't want to see us fighting because he loves Tucker, he loves me. He kind of put it together for us, and so I go out there, we have dinner, we do the show, and at no point during the show or during the dinner was it really even contentious. Was there really even an explicit disagreement? We had some disagreements, but he kind of tried to avoid those. I don't think that he was very forceful or direct about those. And then I went on my show the next day and said, yeah, it was a great interview. I thought it was really nice, and we're on the same page now. And then every single interview that he has done since then, he doesn't say my name without calling me an anti-Semite. He's going.
I have literally not seen that Nazi in that. I don't have to go, I guess go back and listen now. I saw him Tucker, that is, on Sean Ryan. I don't even know if they talked about it. On Dave Smith, though, they didn't call. I don't think he called him an anti-Semite. At all. I could be completely wrong on this, but this is your typical Nick stuff, whining and complaining about these kind of things. At some point, you start to have to say, just like Nick would probably say about a group of people, they keep getting kicked out of certain countries, 100 and some different countries. You keep losing friends. People keep, having to sit down and maybe it's you, maybe it's not.
Going and doing the circuit, and every show that he goes on, he says, Nick is really talented and this and that, but I don't agree with his anti-Semitism and Jew hatred. And I'm like, okay, so where was that during the dinner? Where was that during the show? I didn't hear that during the whole thing. I'm an anti-Semite now, and I wish he would have brought that up during the discussion, because I would have loved to discuss that or to dispute that or whatever, but it's like you said, I got a completely different Tucker after the fact. In all these other shows, he's going around and telling everybody, that like it's the making of a murderer.
Right.
Like, I could see why people like him, even though he's so awful.
Like you're the Averys. Yeah, you got them Jews there? Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Candace will make another show about that like 9 years later. Okay, so
did you catch that? Crowder, you have to watch this. He must be strapped underneath with like a chest holster. Because he's picking at it all the time like he's wearing a bra. And now, it could be that he's wearing a bra. There's a good chance of it.
See why people like him, even though he's so awful.
Like you're the Averys. Yeah, you got them Jews there? Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Candace will make another show about that like 9 years later. Okay, so that's. Did she do like something about Megan?
All right, he didn't do it there as much as I thought he did, but he's been doing it the whole time, and it's a bit dirty. Let's go to the chat here because I wanted to answer a few questions here. You could be jealous of Tucker. I think there's a lot of that, and it's let's just get over that. Tucker's entire interview with Tucker was telling Nick exactly that hating groups is anti-Christian. Yeah, but did he say Nick was an anti-Semite? I don't know. Is Nick talking to what is the fuck is Nick talking about? He's just wrong. Okay, I want correct. Both Ian. Okay, here we go. Both Ian and Candace came from the left. They're still leftists. Just because they got hip to the JQ doesn't change that. Now, that's something to yes. Now you can be. This is why I'm saying about be a little skeptical, but also be willing to take them at face value. Dave Smith talks about how he was a lefty. I mean, there's plenty of you can have these kind of people. Of course, you can make changes. My wife was more lefty growing up, and definitely not now. And she's very sincere, so I don't have a problem with that. It's just some things you need to take into account. Sure, but would you rather? But see, here's the problem. You know who hasn't switched sides? Ted Cruz. Lindsey Graham. We can just go on and on down the list of just horrible, horrible people that are on the right that have never changed, okay? Or would you rather have someone that's, has an open mind and maybe changed, but maybe they're still a piece of shit? I don't know. I don't know. These are the issues of our time, people. Issues of our time. Last one we're going to do here is TPUSA, and let's see what they have to say about all this stuff, because I'm really
to
concerned.
a whole flurry of things. What I'm not open to is a theory that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie. Who else was involved? Sure, I can talk about that. Was there other voices involved? But I'm not open to that, because guess what? The evidence of that case is incredibly watertight. And I would like for us to focus on the rise of left-wing violence, the rise of mental health illness in this country, the rise of young people in the progressive side, turning to Mangionism and assassination culture, and the idea that they can solve their political disputes by justifying violence. And we're seeing more and more of that. Instead of focusing on that, we're getting taken down rabbit trails. And listen, I understand a good faith question. I understand that we've been lied to. But when you look at the people that have been harmed by this, our team, our staff, the movement, people that weigh into this issue, then they get caught up in it. There's been a lot of carnage, and I don't want that for the movement. I hope we can get through this sooner than later.
Okay, I don't give a shit about the movement, and I don't give a shit about TPUSA. And like I said, I think when you start to see how much money was involved in this, and you see how much the upper echelon gets paid on all this, I'm just like, okay, you're no different than anybody else, and I'm not going to make you some sort of super religious organization, which they're actually trying to do based on the fact of politics being ingrained in this. And it was disgusting what happened right after this with the Israel connection stuff. Gross. So I'm just not, I don't really care. It's nice that he's concerned. And, I'm sorry that some people, maybe they're throwing their lot in, saying some things to you, but who cares? It's like things, they never change though. It's like saying, holy cow, Bill Maher is on the right because he's against trans. Yeah, well, that's true. So we got to be careful about all that stuff, people. Got to be careful about all of it. Just to let you know, I am doing a show on Friday still, so come back to me on Friday. Maybe we'll have more of this. We can have a nice, sparse discussion. Other than that, thanks for tuning in today. I wore the tie. I think it's respectable. I'm doing everything I can to make this work at the office, but I will be home. What's today? Wednesday. So we got Thursday. I might have a party tomorrow, and then Friday I will do our thing. Other than that, everybody, take care.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any knowledge of the real world,
none of us are screaming, "Let's kill Tyler."
Tyler says, "My
Jewish princess."
You low-key, you're one of the funniest dudes in the Liberty world that I know.
More or less, eat shit and die.
He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Do you see what he just did to Tyler?
I feel like you don't get the appreciation for your humorous wit.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?